Well, welcome to Pardon Me, Alex, your only lumberjack basketball resource and podcast on the interwebs. I am Alex, and that is Jax.
I'm Jax.
And we're about to have a hell of a good time, I think.
I've already had a hell of a good time tonight. Let's keep it going. So as we just disclosed on Twitter, we have a very, very special guest joining us for this episode of Pardon Me, Alex.
We do, and we should tell you after we do the intro video.
Wait, so you want me to wait on what I was going to say next?
Well, okay. I was going to say, you want to do the intro video before bring him in?
Right, yeah. So I'll introduce
Okay, go ahead.
So our special guest is a bit of a negative, just legend. So Mr. Sean Clinch was the KTRE sportscaster for I don't know how many years, but a long time. I know whenever I was in high school, he was a sportscaster. So a little bit of a local celebrity. I've literally grown up watching this guy talk about sports, and he's just one of the coolest. So we're gonna have him on.
We're gonna have him on. So let's get this podcast started. Boom. I didn't mean to do it. I was going to do it twice. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so we're really excited to have Sean on. So let's bring him on. Let's go. Sean Clinch is in the house.
Whoa.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, ladies. Looking
Quick
purple. I didn't get the memo or I missed it. I'm obviously not in the right color scheme.
Yeah, you're not in the right attire. Okay, really quick before we get started. We usually tell our listeners what beverage of the night we're having.
Yes.
So I just want to let you know that my beverage of the night is based on something you introduced me to.
Yes. The Finnish long drink. You know what? I'm so proud of you, Jack, because you gave it a chance. You gave it an opportunity because, always sometimes our opinions really don't influence people. But that is one drink that is phenomenal. And I think they have, 4 flavors?
Yes.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. It's gin-based seltzer.
Yes.
I think I found my new calling.
Sean, I'll trust you on anything. So I tried it out. So here I have it in my SFA koozie, and I'm about to pop the top.
Oh, yeah. Popping tops on a Tuesday.
All right. So Jax has her finished drink, which she loves. I have a lovely pretzel stout.
Ooh.
From Martin House. Limited release peanut butter pretzel stout. Martin House always has the most wild flavors, wild combos. Love Martin House. If you want crazy, crazy combo beers, they're the go-to guys and gals for that. Anyway, so yeah, it's made in Texas by Texans. It's in Fort Worth. Love it. It's very, very good. Martin House is probably my second favorite brewery under, obviously, Fredonia.
Fredonia.
Like Fredonia beer, obviously.
That sounds delicious, by the way.
Very good beer. Very, very good beer.
Well,
okay. So Sean,
I have to.
Go ahead.
I'm embarrassed because, I'm not embarrassed. I have a Yeti full of water with a squeezed lemon in it.
My water with lemon, cucumbers, and mint. So we're on the same
page. That sounds amazing, actually. It's as you age, you hold off until after Wednesday.
I usually only drink on weekends on Saturday nights, but here we are. So,
usually I wait until at least Thursday for trivia, but I figured tonight we're doing our podcast. Got to have a little something.
Hey, I'm very proud of you both. I'm in the minority here, and I should have been prepared for a mixed cocktail.
You should have known.
It's okay. Okay, Sean. So for our listeners who don't know what a legend you are, give us a little bit of your background, going to SFA, for KTRE, all that. Like tell everybody.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Oh, Texas is putting a beat down on TCU. I didn't realize that. 41-23. So I went born raised in Austin. Went to the great university in the middle of the pines, Stephen F. Austin. Graduated 98. I'm aging myself.
No.
Yes. And first was in the TV career, sportscasting. Went to San Angelo, back to East Texas, where Brian Mays and I worked together, and went there. And I got promoted to sports director, and then Oklahoma City.
Okay,
And
what
then-
years did you do KTRE sports? Because I
Oh,
remember you not in high school, but I don't know exactly what years you were there.
It was like August of 99
Okay.
till December of 06.
Yeah, so the whole time I was in like junior high, high school, I was watching Sean do sports.
I was waiting for you to. I was trying to push through until you got out of high school.
He's there just for you. Just for you.
The sacrifices made not to go to other markets until you graduated from high school.
Yeah.
And to go cover Douglas basketball. But,
The mighty Lady Indians.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember all of it. But Oklahoma City was a lot of people, there's a stereotype of OKC is far from it. Great place. I did something that I said I would never do and become a fan of a team that I covered. Fell head over heels in love with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that's when they entered OKC as the Sonics with Nick Collison, Kevin Durant, and then Russell, and then Harden,
I
then
love Nick
Serge.
Collison.
Oh my God, Nick!
One of my favorite players. That's how I became a Kansas fan. Was Kurt Heinrich and Nick Collison.
And that's two great reasons.
And Drew Gooden.
Yeah.
True.
Anyways.
Yeah. So and then it just I was itching for another move, and then Austin, my dream station growing up, KView called, and from late 2012, and then I hung it up in June of 2019.
I was going to say it was just recent here where you took a little pause on that and started doing something else.
And then here we are. We're all three of us podcasters. I'm pharmaceutical sales. I talk about menstrual cycles every day and birth control, prenatals, and hormone therapy.
I think
question is, when are you going to have us on as guests on
stories
inside the man cave?
Why am I crooked?
So for the people who are
direction.
Watching, you see it. If you're listening, Stories Inside the Man Cave is Sean's podcast that you should totally tune into, and he's going to have us on soon. I think.
Yes, I am. I'm in negotiations with your agents, trying to get the booking to work out.
Our people will call your people.
It's confirmed. We're just trying to find a date.
Okay.
Just trying to find a date. Totally in. 100% ready to talk about some lumberjack football.
Football, basketball.
All of it.
Yeah. And even
all
we got to give a shout out to Johnny Cardenas.
Oh,
the
yes.
hardest working D1 baseball coach in America.
Cardenas is our dude, and he's actually asked us to do a live episode of the podcast at one of the games, and then COVID happened, and we just haven't gotten it on the schedule yet. So
yeah. This season, though, it's happening. Johnny, I know you're not probably listening, but we are coming, son. We are coming.
It's one of the coolest dudes, and he cares about that program and everyone involved in it.
He really does. He just makes and just churns out some good, honest to goodness ball players and good dudes. So
he really does. And I've said this on one of our other episodes of the podcast, but one of the things that I love the most about him is he honestly, genuinely cares and supports all the other sports at SFA as much as his own team, and is like their number one fan and cheerleader and supporter. And I love that.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. So Sean, first question's coming to you from one of our most loyal fans on this podcast, cat fans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he would like to know, or they would like to know, since he's a legend, meaning you, can Sean confirm whether beans go in chili?
Oh, wow. That could get you in trouble in certain counties in Texas.
I gave a really controversial hot take that.
Did you really?
Yes. Actually, my brother said it, and I agreed with him. He said, if you're eating chili without beans, for the people who get so mad about that, like, you might as well just be eating spaghetti sauce with a little sprinkle of cumin, because That's a treat.
Listen, I will eat it with beans, but I prefer chili not with beans.
Okay.
If I had
Decent
the
meat.
option, I will eat both. But no, to me, it's kind of counterproductive in my in possession of a Texan card, in my opinion, if you request beans first as your preference.
Now, I like that answer. That's not a bad answer. You'll eat both. You enjoy both. But as a Texan, if you ask for beans first, Texan card. I get it.
GTFO with your Texan card.
Revoked. Absolutely revoked.
For
Wait,
a lifetime.
I totally get what y'all are saying, but I feel like for some reason I've met a bunch of I have not met a bunch of stereotypes that would automatically qualify you as a quote unquote Texan. So it doesn't bother me as much. Because people already who don't know me and meet me don't necessarily think I'm from East Texas because of all the stereotypes I don't meet.
Well, I can see that. You know, it's kind of like barbecue.
Oh God! Literally, you said barbecue, and literally, Cat Fan said Sean got it right. We better not go to the barbecue sauce tunnel. That's exactly what he just sent me.
Well, what's funny is he makes a valid point, Cat Fans. I'm assuming those of us who have traveled across this great country, regions, there's all types of ways to prepare barbecue. The Carolina Whites, I think it's Carolina white sauce or vinegar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Memphis and Kansas City really aren't that far apart, but they're so vastly different. And as far as they prepare their barbecue, we like it. I want to say, what is it? It's KC, and then there's Birmingham. Birmingham, if I remember, it is wet. Saucy.
Okay, I don't know anything about Birmingham, but KC, they do like the sauce.
Yeah.
They liked it wet as well, a lot, very, very wet. Which I like that. I like the wetness of it. I was in as I'm talking and saying this, it sounds so bad coming out of my mouth.
So that was the complaint of people who have the complaint of chili not being Texan if it has beans in it, is that they're like, it's too much sauce, it's too much sauce. But here's what sparked the chili conversation with my brother and I was barbecue conversation about the sauce. And I was like, a lot of people want to say like, oh, well, if you season it correctly and you cook it correctly, you don't need all that sauce. Okay, here's my cat. We'll come back to this.
Hey, we got to get Chloe and Jen to make
get your cat.
Being cooked or seasoned correctly and the amount of sauce, like they don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like you can just like a lot of sauce. That doesn't mean you didn't cook it or prepare it well. You just we just like sauce on it. Okay, but Sean, so this cat of mine literally makes a cameo every time we record.
That is a cougar.
He's like a mini panther. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all how big he is. Look at him. Wow. Look at this cat. He weighs like 20 pounds.
He does not miss a meal.
Whenever he's like, if I put him outside during the day and you see him in the distance, like walking, like he looks like a mini cougar.
He's like a panther, bro.
That is more of like a gray panther or a mountain lion. That's a mountain lion.
Yeah, he is. But you have a cat too, so you should show him off real quick.
I have two.
Oh, I thought you only had one.
I have two. Vincent Royal and Chloe Claire. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah. See,
they're usually very nosy. Yeah, I don't know where they are. They're just chilling somewhere. But they'll make.
That's okay. If they show up, then you could totally bring them in the pod.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, so let's get started talking about. Let's just dive right into Friday night. Friday night, we all got in. We went over all met up at the brewery. Really fun night at the brewery. We had the Deacon of Funk there. It was a little bit of a fundraiser for the Student Emergency Fund. Deacon of Funk was just absolutely jamming the 70s and 80s tunes. Had a little dance party, had a couple beers. I mean, it was a good night. Sean had an 8-inch pizza.
It was a fun night, except I'm still sad that I got there after Sean already
I
left.
know it.
I didn't get to see you. And
I hate that because you brought your mom too. I didn't get to meet Mama P.
So what was even more amazing was the fact that my mother came out because
that doesn't happen.
My parents don't drink at all, and they rarely go out and do stuff. But as Alex said, so we had a DJ, Deacon of Funk, which is Alton Fraley. Do you know him, right,
Yeah,
Sean?
yeah.
So Alton went to high school with my parents. Yeah, they like grew up together. So that's the only reason I was able to convince my mom to come out was she wanted to come out there and see Alton DJ. So she had a nice little root beer from Fredonia,
which is delicious, by the way. So totally fine.
but it was fun. Yeah, Alton's a lot of fun. We love Alton. He's one of our biggest like followers on Twitter.
He loves it, and he loves coming and DJing. He DJs all over Houston too, so like this is nothing new for him. I mean, this is like his side gig, and he loves it. So we love having him here, and we love when he comes to the brewery. So really enjoyed that night. Had a little, like I said, little dance party, little beverages, and then just enjoyed the night. Had a fun little Friday, little pre-game meetup at the brewery. So it was a good little time.
It was fun. I've got to say this. First of all, I know you work for the Fredonia Brewery. Downtown Nacogdoches has always been one of my special places, and I've always envisioned it to be what it's becoming.
Yeah.
I've got to say, anyone who has not been to Nacogdoches yet, first of all, the Fredonia is completely renovated. It's modernized, but it keeps the charm of Nacogdoches. Then everything's within walking distance, or it will soon be. You could walk to the brewery. I'm very impressed with those fine Americans at the Fredonia Brewery. It reminds me of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And
nice. I like that.
I do too. It was shot. And
I like to hear that.
Everybody needs to visit it. It is so much fun. I had to go to bed early because the residuals from having COVID was still zapping my energy, but I'm 100% now. But very impressed of what all that area around downtown Nacogdoches has become. It's a lot of fun.
Couldn't agree more. I think it's going in a good direction, and hopefully it'll just continue getting better. So
it will. If you two are involved, I know it will be.
Well,
we do what we can for the people.
We do what we can with what we got, Sean. Right. And sometimes it's not a lot, but damn it, we're gonna do it.
You gotta work it. Shake what your mama gave you.
You gotta work, bash. But yeah, so Friday night was fun. Next day, wake up, early morning. Matt was out there early, setting up tailgate. I got out there probably like around 9:30 or so. Great little tailgate setup. We had alumni out there with a huge white tent that they set up. Heaters. The heaters came in clutch. Matt got heaters from I don't know who, probably University Rental. Had heaters out there, which were perfect. We got food donated from Knack Burger, drinks from RNK, and then of course Fredonia donated 4 cases of Purple Lights, which is amazing. We needed all of that as well because a lot of people going up.
Those are so good, the Purple Light beer.
Yeah. Easy drink. Love it. And it's, it was nice that Fredonia did that. And I love that we did because, this time of year, it's just money is tight. So, donating beer, 4 cases even, that's over $100. And so just doing that was really, really nice of them, which I appreciated. Told my boss we appreciated that. But yeah, what a nice little tailgate. Had a nice turnout. Sean, how did you enjoy tailgate?
First off, shout out to the SFA Alumni Association. They always go big. I know you guys are heavily involved. I'm an ambassador here. You guys have been instrumental. The Alumni Association and with Matt Atkins. Matt does a lot. He organized this entire deal, but, just teamed up with you guys and made all that happen. And what we were kind of apprehensive about a cold morning didn't affect us at all. It was fun. Had a lot more people than I ever thought. And then the tour of the new practice facility.
I was going to ask for you to talk about that next because as most of our listeners know, Alex and I have seen it, but this was Sean's first time to see the new performance facility. So
unreal.
I was going to say immediate reaction thoughts. Yeah.
Immediate reaction. I've seen 4 NBA practice facilities and then about 5 or 6 other universities. And I'm not just saying this because I'm biased or a proud SFA alum. That practice facility is at or above all of those 10 or 11 I mentioned. That's how nice and the level of quality it is. And it's, if people don't think that that will help recruit, they're insane.
Oh,
Agreed. And so, first thing I want to say on that note is major shout out to Lottie
Yeah.
and all of the other sponsors for that center. And just another reminder to anyone who wants to act like athletics budgeted for that and they're getting more money than other departments. The reason there's a man's name on the front of the building is because it was funded through private donations. So again, let me not let that be a point of confusion. That was not budgeted for. That was private donations that paid for that, babe. So don't come adding us about athletics getting money that no one else gets.
That's one thing. I'm so glad you said that, because that happens a lot. It's a constant gridlock between the academic side and athletics and some students. We are acting and playing like a true Division I athletic department now. And we need all three of us. We need everyone who's watching to contribute. Whether it be $25 a month, $25 a year, $100,000 a year, it takes all of us. It takes a village to continue the growth of an athletic department and to compete on the highest level. And honestly, I got to ask you guys this. This is my belief that athletic success, as we've had in basketball, it improves your overall exposure and interest in our university.
I'm glad that you said that, because literally my next point segued off of yours was going to be, and I love the way that Ryan Ivey states this, is that athletics should be seen as the front porch to the house of the university.
I agree.
It's not, and he has said this himself, it's not more important than the interior of the home. So like the education and the academics, it's not more important. But if you drive by and the front of the house is nothing to look at, you're going to keep driving and you're never going to come in that house. So sorry, athletics is the platform that gets the most attention across various different mediums. And so if our athletics is doing well, then that's how people are going to find out about SFA and even go to look it up and come there for academic purposes. Because probably 95% of the students are not athletes. So lots of people come who aren't athletes, but that might be how they found out about it.
Yeah.
No, those are all. I'm glad that's well stated. I mean, even look at the most highest revenue generating university athletic departments here in Austin, year in year, and it requires everybody an alumni. But you want to go down to a smaller scale. If we want to use Gonzaga, that didn't just happen. That took an investment of people. And it's going to require us to have more involvement from students, not just by attending, but taking an interest and generating that vibe. Right. And that's what we're lacking right now. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with both of your points. And, and as a current college professor myself, and Jacqueline has done it as well, like, I know the importance of academics, 100%, not diminishing that one bit whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yes, athletics is normally 99.9% of the time going to be what people associate a school with. I'm sorry, it's not going to be the accounting department. It's not going to be hospitality. It's not. It's just not. We'll be put on.
It's not that that's less important, but are you watching? This is how people are entertained.
They're not on ESPN, babe.
They're not watching an accounting
decathlon, whatever the fuck it's called.
You know what I mean?
They're not.
It's on TV for the general public to absorb and know about something. It doesn't mean it's more important.
Not at all. What it also does, and there's proven facts, I just don't have the numbers in front of me, that sustainable athletic success in the big three, basketball, football, and baseball, men's and women's, sustained success generates more revenue to the academic side, whether it be facilities, research department. You can, if you specialize in a research type of facility of your school or a program, and also it potentially increases the opportunity for higher salaries for professors and administrators and instructors. It's just a win-win for everybody.
It is. I mean, and another point to that is think about this. I mean, think about when we beat Duke. I know we keep bringing that up, but just play with this for a second.
Bringing it up till the day we die.
We will, but for
Forever.
this particular, not because of the Duke part of it, but because of the fact that we were on such a large scale or such a large platform, we beat them. And then you had all of these SFA alums who were watching that game because of that game, got reinvigorated and had just this influx of pride for SFA, not necessarily, 100% because of all of the stuff that went on during the Duke game and the fact that we tipped in and all the Nate stuff, but just they felt so much more engaged because of that game. And then that's where all these alums come back in that are from different departments and things. And that's when they start giving back to their school because they feel like they're engaged again. Yeah. And that's the whole point that Alumni Association's trying to do and athletics is trying to do. Like we're all on the same boat, all on the same team, trying to do it together. And, I just don't understand the blowback and the hesitation from other places and other people on campus. I just don't get it. It's probably never going to go away. But I'll just say this one thing. If you do not like the athletic programs and or athletics getting money, then why in the actual hell are you teaching at a school where athletics is a big thing? Go work at a liberal arts college where there's no freaking athletics. Have a nice day.
To each their own.
Exactly.
But
Goodbye.
Done. I just wish. Here's my wish.
Take your spot on faculty. Bye.
I still maintain relationships with former professors and instructors at Stephen F. And my wish is I want everybody to take a look that's involved with Stephen F. Austin and put this, we're on our own planet. We're doing this together. We're one team. Literally, we have to be one team. You don't have to love sports, but just take a little pride in it. You don't have to go attend, but we need a good 20% of the student body to be active in this. Join our team. Help me help you with this, and we'll all help each other because we got Coach Carthel with the football program doing phenomenal things. He just hired a great defensive coordinator after Coach Storm, I think, went to Louisiana Tech.
La Tech.
Replaced a good coach with another great defensive coordinator. The recruiting's insane for our level. Johnny Gardinas is doing the absolute best with that facility and program. Yeah. And the Lady Jacks are back to the old ways.
Yeah.
And it just, they deserve our attention. They deserve social media posts. The power of a tweet.
Right.
Every day.
Sometimes, Sean, when you're talking, I close my eyes and I hear Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
I need to write my own book.
All right.
When you said that, I kind of, okay.
It's certain things that he says, Jax. He says certain things, and I hear it, the twang, and I'm like, hey, Matthew.
I'm not from Longview.
I know you're not.
Speaking of, I'm not going to name names, but I will say this. I was told that at an alumni event in Longview that an individual walked up to somebody who was wearing a Stephen F. shirt. This infuriates me beyond belief, but it tells us where we are, what we need to do. A young lady at this establishment asked them, what does that SFA stand for? Oh, no. Mind you, they live in Longview, which is 80 miles away from Nacogdoches?
Yeah, probably.
East Texas.
Yeah.
A town of 100,000. What is that? Oh, where is that? Come on, man. Man. How did that happen? What are we doing wrong? Are we doing what is it generational? So that should be a reality check that where we are now with these generations.
Yeah.
That's going to have to be a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. Last little comment about this is from Matt, our boy Matt Atkins, great alumni now. were great back in the day as students. I'm afraid our students that aren't buying in now aren't going to be the same great alumni in
Excellent
the future.
point.
Great point.
That's something to be concerned about. That's a legit comment.
Legitimate concern. Absolutely. Totally agree. So yeah, I had that tour. Lottie was a great tour. I'm glad you guys went on that. I'm glad Matt was able to set that up. I mean, it was great little tour for you guys. And then of course we go into the game. So go into the game. Games tip offs at 2:30. What was it?
2.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know why 2:30 was in my head. 2:00. Go sit in the heckler/Hayes reunion section, and obviously get ready, start going, and then the game starts, tip off, and then the rest is history. Sean, you were not sitting with us. Mr. Sean here was too big for, went and sat.
That was a last minute. A younger member, let's just say a fraternity brother, asked me, "Hey, you want to sit on the sidelines?" And I'm like, "What? Courtside seats?" I said, "Okay." And so I said, "I need one for at least for another one for my nephew who's a junior at SFA." Yeah, I felt bad about it. Look at Atkins. Love it.
Matt is not pleased with your answer.
He was not pleased, and I'm begging for forgiveness of that switch in the seating arrangement. However, I did pay for 4 tickets in the Heckler reunion section,
which was much appreciated. Thank you, Matt.
Only 2 were occupied.
Yeah.
But I have to say this before we go into the New Mexico State game.
Yeah.
What Ryan Ivey and that staff, everybody involved.
Matt Adkins says, "All love, man."
All love, bro. Look at that. He's the hardest working alumni in 7 counties.
Boy.
But I will say what they've done with the arena, with the court side, and the efforts made to accommodate an atmosphere which this program deserves more consistently is there. The infrastructure is there.
100%.
I'm highly pistified by the lack of students. I don't care if you want to go home, but we just need 1,000 of you for a weekend home game. That's it. 1,000.
One quick note I have to make on this, and I keep meaning for us to tweet this from the podcast, and I keep forgetting. But so, Sean, during the Thursday night game, we learned from a friend of ours that apparently, and this is one thing that we've discussed about a potential reason for why the student engagement isn't what it should be, is the whole COVID year of students didn't really get to experience that as fully. Okay. So maybe they don't understand it. Okay. So anyway, so our friend who sits with us Thursday night at the game tells us that whenever he walked in, basically there were a few students in front of him who were trying to pay for tickets because they literally didn't know they could get in free with their ID. And so
interesting.
We're like, if there's a whole portion of, these COVID students who don't even know they get in free, would that impact student attendance? I don't know.
Is that part of marketing?
I don't know.
I would assume so. But I feel like that should be part of orientation. And as an orientation ex-leader, I'm pretty sure that stuff that we talked about, that with your ID, you get in for free, all the games, da-da-da. And so I don't know where the disconnect is, if it's because of the COVID year. And so students are just now getting back on the swing, because the last 2 games, since the students have been back, have been way more attended than any other game so far this season.
Okay.
So it's starting, it's getting better. It's not where it was prior to COVID. And also, obviously, whenever I was there, you were there, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? It just wasn't there.
That's encouraging to hear. Jacqueline, did I interrupt you?
No,
you're good. No, you're good.
The thing I remember, I think we all know, even as adults, we need reminders in front of us. I remember there were marquees on campus, game so-and-so night. stuff like that, and remind and just have them on flashing marquees, stuff like that, and then email every. I think Ryan Abbey had. I think he blasted an email.
He blasts emails all the time. He blasts emails all the time. I mean, honestly, athletics has done everything that you've probably said and more, and everything that you're going to think of to get people, not just students, but community members, everybody there. It's just people are still, I think, weary about COVID, which I got it, understandable. But my thing is, and we said this at the very beginning of the season when we heard this comment from somebody else. It's like, if you bought season tickets for the game, great, love the support, beautiful, beautiful. But if you're planning on not attending because of COVID or other reasons, don't just leave your seats empty. Like, give them away at least. If you don't want to sell them, give them to somebody. Give them to students. Give them to friends. Give them to whoever you can. And so I think that's also a main thing too, because we were told when people were looking at the attendance numbers versus community members versus students versus this and that. And that was some of the things that were coming out of that. So it's just really interesting point there. So,
well, this is going to be a very unpopular suggestion, but I've been watching Ryan Ivey from afar, and there's been some conversations, with all of us in front of him. That with change, people become frustrated because they want to adhere to a habit or a way we did things for years. That's everywhere. There's always a faction of people who don't adapt to change very well. So that leads me to my point. I think we're at a point now that students should have the option of buying an all sports pass as part of your semester tuition.
Right.
Not as high as like Texas, but like $50 to $75 will get you into every baseball game, every football, every basketball, every sporting event. And then have some incentive on that. If you buy an all sports package, you get SFA gear or something like that.
Right. Like an SFA.
Yeah.
So that way you're collecting. I just don't know what percentage of students, and I'm just naming a price, $50 to $75. And that gets you in everywhere. That's what a lot of universities, Division I universities do. Do students pay that right now?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Students pay what? Do the students pay anything?
Do they pay us for a sports package?
Oh, no.
No. There's no athletic fee. There's no sports package. Now like how A&M has like a sports where you like pay a certain price and that gets you. We don't have anything. It is stone cold free, and they're not getting charged any athletic fees because they voted it down.
Right. Yeah.
I remember that. Remember that now. So I think it needs to be an option. You elect it. When you're signing up for classes, registration, you have the option for the all sports package, and then have a description of where that money goes to. If we're going to be a big boy basketball program and we're going to continue to succeed, success costs money. And you have to have an investment. Let's all I need to be a better alumni and figure out how to donate more.
Right.
Same with students. We all have to do this.
Yeah. And you're right. That may be a very controversial idea, but it's an idea. Yeah. And it's, something's got to happen. And again, I'm sure that's also something that's probably been thrown around at some point.
I bet. I'm not the only one. I'm not the first to come up with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I would just like to announce before we get started talking about the game that Cat Fans really loves your voice and would love you to be on as a regular.
Hey, we can do that. But we have to get my new sponsor involved. Manscaped. Manscaped.com.
You do messed up. You do have a really great radio voice, Sean.
A face for radio too.
Get out. All right, Jacqueline, let's start talking about the game, girl, with Sean.
Yeah. Okay. So I usually give a little general history background info. So, since we're in a new conference this time, and then this is a new opponent, for anyone who doesn't know, New Mexico State University is a public land grant research university with its main campus in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Founded in 1888, it's the oldest public institution of higher education in the state of New Mexico, and one of two flagship universities in New Mexico. So their team is called the Aggies, obviously because the school taught ag to begin with. Their mascot is known as Pistol Pete. Their colors are crimson and white. So we've never played New Mexico State before this, so there's no background history with them. And they were 4-1 in WAC play going into this game. So we had same lineup of starters from the last few games. We had Gavin, David, Calvin, Latrell, and Diego. We lost 72-58. And I believe this is a season high attendance thus far of 2,551.
Yeah. Great attendance, decent group. I mean, there was even a nice little contingent from New Mexico there, which of course, I mean, it was nice for their team. You know, obviously they traveled pretty decently well. There was also a few New Mexico fans that, New Mexico State fans, don't want to get dragged anymore. That we met in the parking lot, or I met in the parking lot, and a bunch of them were from Houston, and they were so excited that they didn't have to drive, you know, a million hours to Edinburgh or to Tarleton anymore just to go see the guys play, you know. So that was they were excited, and they were excited to come to a new city, and so I think it was nice. All of them that I ran into or that I came across contact in were super nice. There was actually one lady who follows our podcast or follows somebody who follows us and came over and took a picture with me. I can vaguely remember this because, of course, it was during tailgate and I was already starting to get a little wild. But I remember distinctly meeting her, taking a picture, I think, maybe, and then her tweeting about it, but I don't remember. That's all I can recall. But anyway, so they were nice. They were nice folks. So it was a nice little day, and all in all, minus the loss. But
it was. But here's another thing that a lot of people like myself and probably Jacqueline and you as well, Alex, and Matt Atkins, New Mexico State, it has been on the college basketball scene. I mean, I think they've gone to 15 or 17 NCAA tournaments. The state of New Mexico, and the University of New Mexico used to be a powerhouse. And like Las Cruces is out in the middle of nowhere. They're right across the border from El Paso. But they have a old school, tradition-rich basketball program.
Absolutely. Like we knew coming into this game, and obviously the GCU game too, but like we knew coming into these two games that it was going to be an absolute battle. It was going to be a dogfight completely. And so, I mean, we knew that in our heads. And so that's why we came in, you know, kind of just high expectations, but also realistic ones too. But so let me quickly kind of run through the WAC standings real fast as per the only team that is still undefeated in the WAC. Seattle. What?
We play them tomorrow.
Seattle is.
We play them tomorrow. They are doing fantastically.
But I don't think they haven't really played any of the other top people. I don't think they've played GCU or New Mexico State.
Let me check you real quick. I got it pulled up right here. So
they couldn't have, because they were all going into this last week like undefeated. So
so they've played Chicago State, they've played Utah Valley, they played Dixie, California Baptist, Abilene, and Tarleton. And the closest game out of all of those was maybe the Tarleton game.
I was just about to say, if it's effing Tarleton.
Yeah. Tarleton was 76-68.
Yeah.
Abilene was 10 points. California Baptist was like, California wasn't as, it was a little bit closer. It was 92-85. Dixie State was about 11 points. Utah Valley. Yeah, the only team that they absolutely like kind of blew out was Chicago State, and that was by like 20 points or so.
Yeah, they haven't played either of the other top two teams. So.
Right. So they literally have us tomorrow. They have Sam Houston on Saturday because we're travel partners, right? And then right after that, they got Grand Canyon in New Mexico back to back.
We're going to find out real quick how good they are.
After these 4 games, we're going to know where Seattle really stands.
Oh, completely. Absolutely.
I bet you it's not at number 1 anymore.
Yeah. And if you look at the net rankings, which is instead of was pretty much took over for the RPI. Its net ranking is pretty accurate. And people need to realize that this conference is about 6 or 7 rankings, I think, or at least 5 above the Southland. So it's a much tougher basketball league in the Southland.
Yeah.
Huge improvement. I know a lot of people are saying, well, you guys moved up to the WAC and that ain't nothing. I'm like, are you even looking at the freaking numbers? I don't know how many people have tweeted that at us or other people like, man, moving up to WAC isn't much of a move up. I'm like, are you blind?
But besides that, I mean, we were in the Southland. So what are you talking about? Like, a step up is a step up. Like, we can't just jump all the way to the top. Like,
right. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, babe. We had to start somewhere. I mean,
step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not playing in a high school gym called Houston Baptist.
Sorry, Caleb. Shots fired.
Incarnate Word is worse than Houston Baptist, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Incarnate Word's the other one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
High school gym.
Yeah, right. All right. So after Seattle U at 6-0, we have Sam Houston at 7-1, which is again a huge surprise to me this season. I was not expecting them to be at the top of the pack like this. Out of nowhere, just kind of surging. They've won 5 in a row, which is wild. Then we got New Mexico State 5-1, Grand Canyon 4-2, Utah Valley 4-3. That is the same standings as us at 4-3. Dixie State 3-4, Abilene 3-5, Tarleton as well 3-5. Both CBU and Chicago State 2-4. UT Rio Grande 1-6, and then poor old Lamar lost 10 in a row, and they are 0-6 and haven't won a game in a really long time.
How is that possible? Lamar.
They've only won 2 games, Sean, the whole season, hun.
I don't get that. They have a nice arena. The Montaigne Center. They're in a town of 100,000 plus people, a proud alumni base. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever that Lamar is in a rebuilding mode. I don't get it.
I don't know. And again, we just played them earlier last week, and, they play us hard every time. Like, I don't understand what is going on with their team. I don't. They looked like a pretty decent team to me when they played us. Either that or we were just sucking it up, which also is true too. But
well, I told Alex, Lamar is one of those schools for us that like they can literally be bottom of the conference and they're gonna play their best game in the entire season when they play us.
I think everybody plays well because of the cachet of the name in recent history.
Yeah,
I really do.
For sure. For sure. Every single team that's going to come into the Sawmill or we go to them, they're going to give us their best shot, their hardest play, just because. And that's true. Damn it, Cat fans, you're right. Why you have to be logical? Lamar has had COVID and injury issues a lot of the year. You're right.
Okay, see, I wasn't aware of that.
So, like, next man up. Jesus.
Yeah.
I know.
So the thing that I had a problem with on Saturday, like SFA did against Grand Canyon, hot. This guy was on fire. New Mexico State, they could have made a basket from Sereno.
Yeah.
Or even Douglas, for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, they could not miss. And
No.
then there were 2 guys. I mean, how do you defend a big guy? And I can't remember his name. Was it Rice or was it Allen?
Well, it's Teddy Allen, who's like Teddy Buckets, their big guy.
Yeah.
But Jacqueline's about to go over the stats, and we're going to see real quick what happened here. So go ahead, Jax.
And when we get to the grievances, you can talk more on that. Sean Kennedy's stat section. So our field goal percentage was 38.1. Our 3-point percentage, 26.1. Our free throw percentage was the highest, I believe, of the season at 80%.
One bad.
We made 36 points in the paint, which is about where we want to be. 13 points off of turnovers, 16 second chance points, 10 fast break points, 25 bench points, pretty high. Our total rebounds were 29. We had 10 offensive and 19 defensive boards. We had 19 fouls, which is about our normal.
It's about normal, yeah.
another game. I think the last game we only had 10 turnovers, and this game we only had 10 turnovers. So
That's a good number.
You know,
I'm
a
so
lot better than what it was a couple games ago. So
I'm so happy with that. Beyond happy. New Mexico had 19 turnovers. We had 12 steals and 5 blocks. So our our 2 game leaders were Day Day with 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and Calvin with 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, these 3 steals. What a game. So proud of him. And I do also have to mention, even though he wasn't necessarily the next highest scorer, but JJP had a great game. He had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal.
That's a good game. That's a great game.
great game. I tell you what, leading right into the feats of strength here. I mean, Sean, you can pipe in whenever with things that you saw, things that you noticed that were really good. But I'm just going to start off by saying, first of all, holy shit, Calvin game. I mean, Calvin
games.
Best one of his best games of the season, if not his best game of the season. Hell of a start. You know, I was concerned the start was slow for him because he shot that one ball. You know, and I was like, man, I appreciate Calvin so much for trying to be more offensive minded. Like, I love that he's trying. And that was like very beginning of the game, like maybe not even a minute or two into the game. He shot a 2 and it just didn't fly. And I was like, oh God, here we go. But then he turned it all the way up and he was all over that court playing defense, offense, buckets, blocks. I mean, what a game from Calvin. What a game.
Yeah, one of my notes was on him. He just had the best game ever. I mean, he had a big 3. He was playing defense the whole entire game. The very first possession, he got a great block.
Yep.
And I mean, he was just, y'all know I love Calvin, but I mean, he was literally hitting every stat out there.
He was.
3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. Like,
he did.
You're working all ends of the court with that.
And that's you know the lack of intensity that was not there. They were intense. It's just
they were fighting the entire game, you know, and it got to a point where nothing was falling, couldn't catch up. It happens. It happens, especially when you got a player like Teddy buckets, bro. He is wild. I made a note about that. I'll bring it up later. Let's see. Another couple things I mentioned. I wrote down today that G had a nice block. The very first possession. Let's see. He had some really good defense almost throughout the entire game. I mean, we were playing decent D. Yeah. It was just, you know, our offense just wasn't clicking. I love Diego so much. He had another start, which, again, he doesn't normally start, but he had to because of Nigel being out. But I love Diego's fight, especially playing some defense. I mean, he was playing some nice D. He was dove for the ball, trying to get the ball, throw it back. I mean, he was doing whatever he could to help the team out there, which I love.
I did too. So that was what I alluded to on the last episode, because the last game Diego had 4 fouls, and so that was kind of one of my grievances. But I was like, he turns it around the Saturday game, and he really stepped up his defensive game this game, because he got a steal. He had a couple of steal attempts, like you were talking about, where he dived on the floor, or he attempted a steal and got fouled, and we ended up getting the ball. He just really made a big turnaround on his defensive game.
I thought Diego earned I haven't seen much of him, but obviously that was my first game this year in person. I saw him on some streams.
None of us have seen that much of him because he's just kind of been sparingly coming off the bench, and then the last 3 games he started. So
he has a high basketball IQ. The stats won't show it. I just from watching him play. If I had a basketball fan's man crush, it would be on Jossel.
Oh my God.
That dude plays with it's his last game.
We have a basketball crush on Latrell too.
That guy.
I'm obsessed with, I know it's just I'm obsessed with Trell. Obsessed. He plays all the guys hustle, but he hustles more than I've ever seen in my life. I made the comparison the other day to Jacqueline. I don't even know what game it was, but I was like, you know what? Like Trell plays some major defense. Like he's great on offense when he's healthy. But his defense, he is all over the court. I mean, all over it. It kind of almost reminded me of like Johnny or like Nate, where they were just all over the court, creating disruption. That's what kind of Trell reminds me of. You know what I mean? Because he's just like on them like white on rice, man.
The entire team. I mean, they play. We Stephen F. Austin play a good brand of defense. Cackleries, I think what the disruption in the offense was more on New Mexico State than Stephen F. not executing. I thought they played in a bounce back game after getting their ass handed to them by Sam Houston.
Yeah.
I thought they responded well.
Which again is just a shock still to me. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. But by the way, I met Cackleries and his dad at what's the cafe downtown, Dolly's?
Dolly's, yeah.
His dad was in town from, I guess, Philly.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they're in Pennsylvania, somewhere in PA. Yeah, near Philly. Yeah.
Great guy. His dad, even better guy. Just good people. But Cackleries that's a guy that he'll probably play overseas.
Oh, I think so too. I agree with that 100%. But yes, to backtrack on your prior comment, we love Bob.
Bob is our guy.
Yeah,
we love Bob.
Yeah. That's his dad?
Yeah.
He's a fine American.
He is a stand-up gentleman. We love hanging out with Bob. We've hung out with Bob multiple times, post-game, couple games now. And so we love Bob. Bob. What about Bob?
I see a ton of potential in Posey.
We do too.
God, me too.
Once that light bulb comes on, the switch, that kid is going to be an incredibly talented player that runs through this program.
Totally agree. You know, we've seen moments of it this season already where he's had just absolute lights out games. And then of course a couple where, you know, just decent, not bad. But man, oh man, you're right. When that light goes off and he's just firing on all cylinders, both sides of the ball, just rocking and rolling. Another great moment Saturday night was Cal with a huge slam. I don't know if we mentioned Calvin with that big slam that he had.
Love it.
Yeah. And that our boys, Matt Kingsley and Josh Alexander, were inducted into the Hall of Fame at halftime.
They played together when they were young, when I was still at KTRE.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell this story real fast.
No, tell it.
Go for it.
When Danny Casper started building, I mean, when all this, what is now, when he started building this, Kingsley was a project out of Kingwood.
Right.
I think he redshirted. And then he got Josh from Shreveport, who was this hot shooting badass. Great guy. Played a long career overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he did.
I went and talked to them. So I went to Casa Tomas because I Coach Casper. I texted him and I said, hey, I just want to come by and say hello. He said, yeah, I've got I thought he said a few people. It was Josh, Kingsley,
Scott
Weaver.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just drew a blank. That I think he was a 3 from Lawton, Oklahoma, part of that first NCAA tournament team. Key player. I just forgot his name. Great guy.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
What did he look like?
Shoot.
I asked a guy this. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, he was a great player. Eddie Williams.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Eddie. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
So
I'm ready.
And then over here to this table is Coach Keller with some friends of the family. And I got it. So I visited with Danny and all them and just reconnected with Josh and Kingsley. And it just makes you realize just a great generation of players. I went over there and introduced Coach Keller to my nephew.
Oh, geez.
And, you know, Keller is his humor is off the charts.
Yeah.
That's just one guy. I could just sit on a porch all night and listen to his humor. He shook my nephew's hand and he pulls it away and he had this scowl on his face and he says, "Have you ever worked a day in your life?" And he says, "Your hands are so soft."
Oh God, that's such a Keller thing to say. Like it's it's funny and it's kind of weird, cringy, but still funny at the same time. You know what I mean? Like that's just his humor, and I love it so much. It's so dry. I'm like,
I love me.
love it. It's just so funny, man. Because you think he's being like, you know, just so serious, and you're like, what? He just starts laughing at you. Oh, it's so funny. That's so funny. That I love that so much.
And it's kind of true. Very soft hands for a junior. In
soft hands. Next time I see him, I'll be like, "So,
let's feel the hands.
Let's feel those soft hands, boy." Oh my God. Yeah, so a couple other things to mention, good stuff. Obviously had a great day with, old friends, new friends at the reunion, cheering on the team, just having a good time at tailgate. Trell took a nice charge. What Trell couldn't do on offense, he was doing, again, whatever he could on defense to help the team, which I love, love, love. Shout out to Rev for winning the shoe bucket challenge thing, even though he had a million air balls or whatever. Like,
he did what he could.
He did what he could with what he had.
Great guy. Oh,
what Justin, a wild man.
Had his entire family in Nacogdoches.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, that was a fun day, I bet. Okay, so I had just a few more positive notes about the game.
Go ahead. We'll move on.
Diego redeemed himself on his defensive effort and just blew that out of the water. So I was happy with that. But he also did something really important that we haven't seen, was he created himself a three-pointer. Because I feel like so far he hasn't gotten as many opportunities because he's the type of shooter who's better off a screen or something. But he put the ball on the floor and created himself a shot. So that was exciting. The second half, I felt like we came back out strong. Like David came out strong right after the half with an immediate 3 and a steal.
Yep.
I felt like we were shifting the momentum upwards, and then it just didn't.
I mean, we came back.
But we came back several times.
We came back within 2 points at the 12-minute mark. And I'm just sitting there watching the game, rewatching it today, and I was just like, we were within 2 points. What the H happened? Because hell if I remember. And then I saw what happened. So, yeah.
And you know what? Whenever I watched it back and I realized that, I was like, never in the second half did I feel like we were that close. But then when I watched it back, I was like, we were within 2 points. We had every opportunity of swinging it. Just the energy at the moment in the game did not feel that way. Right. Didn't feel like we were within a 2-point right there. But anyhow, and then, honestly, Calvin would have been one of my top players of the game, and he missed most of the second half with fouls. So, I mean, the few minutes that he was in there, he only played 25 minutes than he normally plays, closer to 40, So anyway, still in the small time he was in. Day, like we mentioned, top player of the game. I mean, he pretty much carried us most of the game. In there every possession fighting. He was getting his own rebounds and putting them back. He got a great dunk. He was just playing great all across the board. We already talked about JJP, but he made some really great fast break layups. And then Nana made a 3.
Oh, he did. That's what I forgot.
He did.
Yeah.
Hometown kid. So my thing is, I think that I had to be reminded of this, and was the simple fact that if you look at overall production offensively, and I know you got to play with the guys you have.
Right.
40% of the offensive production's not playing. Nigel and Rati. That's 40%. Not excuses, but this team. So I think my point that I'm trying to make that I really take too long to make. So Roddy's out for the year, but when you get Nigel back, and this team's still trying to adjust, I think, without Ware in the lineup, and get the substitution patterns going and play. I don't know. The cohesiveness is starting to come together. I honestly think if you get Nigel and keep Jossel healthy, this team's playing in at least the semifinals in Las Vegas of the WAC tournament.
That's the hope. You know what I mean? It's keeping everybody healthy, like you said. You know, making sure that the cohesiveness is there, because I feel like that is one thing that I feel like we have, but it's not 100% there.
It's not there yet.
100% there. Not there yet. It can be.
I mean, they're not going to get an at-large bid.
No.
But I still think this team, the best basketball, is still ahead of them. Right
For
now,
sure.
it's hard because I feel like they're going through growing pains.
Yeah, and and there's a lot of teams that are going through those same growing pains as well. But I agree. You know, it obviously sucks and it hurts whenever you lose a starting player, super senior, big production on offense and defense, and you lose him in the very beginning of the season. That's just rough on anybody.
Yeah.
Then you have to adjust and reconfigure and figure out how to move on without him in the offensive lineup. And it's rough. It's rough. But yeah, so let's move on to our airing of grievances.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Now you're going to hear about it.
I'm preparing myself to hear.
You're gonna hear
you ladies airing out grievances.
You'll get your turn too, Sean. Don't worry.
I'm going to follow your lead because I came unprepared for airing out grievances.
It's all right. We probably have plenty to go around.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let's just. I don't understand how you can be a broadcaster and not pronounce Rotti's name correctly for us. Said Roti.
Oh, no. Did not do that.
Anyway, that's one. Another one was obviously not having Trell 100%, because after post game, coach said that his wrist was really, really hurting him from the previous game versus GCU. And obviously, again, not a huge excuse, and that shouldn't be why we lose a game, but that's a huge piece that's missing from obviously our offensive production on Saturday night. Obviously no Nigel either, but having Trell's wrist messed up, especially if that's his, that's messes up your shot. It's not 100%. It's not 100% there. So that's obviously a grievance. Not towards Trell. He can't help it. Just the situation. Yeah. Another one was, man, we only had how many turnovers?
10.
10.
Yeah.
But it felt like every time I turned around, we were turning the ball over at some form or fashion. You know what I mean? I know we only had 10, but I feel like those 10 were at very pivotal moments.
Key moments.
Yeah, and a lot of just really sloppy passes, which was
Bingo.
What about it?
Gesundheit. One more. Yes, I agree, Jacqueline. I'm glad you mentioned the sloppy passes, and I totally agree. Like I wrote on my notes, I was like, sloppy passes into the paint, sloppy passes into Gavin under the basket. Just got to hold on to the ball, and also just the passes were not there.
Right.
There was a moment where Nana got a really, really good rebound. Let me make sure I get this right. So Nana got the rebound, but then tried to pass it off to Trell, I believe, and then totally missed Trell, like looked at him, threw it at him, and it went bonkers off sideways. Like he got the rebound, but then just missed the pass to Trell. Easy pass. He was right in front of him, and then turnover. Boom. And I was just like, can't make those small mistakes. You can't. Not with a team like New Mexico, for God's sakes, because that's a grievance. I'm sorry. Like, we got a guy. His name is Teddy fucking Buckets. And this guy, he is insane. 26 points, 7 rebounds. He was 7 from 10 from the 3. 7 out of 10 from the 3. He's insane. He was shooting, like you said, Sean, buckets from the logo. He was shooting buckets from Chirino. He was shooting buckets from the parking lot. And that's why they call him Teddy Buckets. And you know what? Couldn't guard him. And how can you?
Can't. Just
When you're that
one of those
good,
nights,
how
days.
can you?
That's the brutal reality of basketball.
I literally wrote, we're playing decent D. It's literally like I'm reading it word for word. Literally impossible to guard Teddy Buckets. He's just so good. Fuck. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, he was. And you know what? So I really only had a few super basic grievances for this game because it was really just like maybe 3 simple things that were what we didn't execute on. Our shots just were not falling.
Nope.
No matter what, no matter who was shooting, the ball just wasn't falling in the bucket for us.
Nope.
Number 2, like we already talked about, the sloppy passes, that there weren't that many, but the ones that were super memorable and felt like they counted for like 2.
Yep.
And then we just, like you were saying, so two of my like grievance items were Teddy and his stats with 26 points, 7 rebounds, a block, and 2 steals, and then Jabari Rice with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. But like the shots that he made were so great. And it's like, can you even stop that? But then at the same time, I felt like we gave them a ton of just like easy buckets that could have been easily contestable. So, I mean, the Teddy Buckets threes, you can't stop it. But like an easy bucket in the lane, like we can do better than that.
Right.
I agree.
100% agree. And you know what I mean? You don't get a nickname like Teddy Buckets for nothing.
Yeah.
The fact that you're leaving this man open with just enough, either the easy lane or the 3, just enough. Even, I mean, literally, but I swear there were a few of his threes that our defender, his hand was literally straight up his face, and he still made the thing 3, man. And I'm sitting there like just cringing because what can you do? I mean, you just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I wrote in my notes, that 3-point foul on Teddy Buckets around 9 minutes and 42 seconds. I wrote time of death. There was no coming back after that.
That was it. Ball game.
That was it for me because you know what? Like
The
when
mental piece was done.
When you foul Teddy on a 3-pointer, that's it, bro. That's it.
Yeah. The night's over. The day's over.
Night's over. You got 9 minutes, 42 seconds left, and you just could not get close enough after that to make any sort of a run, any sort of juice, nothing. And I was just like, well, fat lady sang, babe, 9:42, you know, and oh boy. A few other things I noticed when I was looking at the darn stats. I mean, New Mexico State had 36 bench points to our 25.
Right.
That's 1. 2, they only had 15 fouls. We had 19, so not 100%, you know, synced up. But, you know, it was still not exactly right. They had 47 rebounds. 4-7.
Dominated the boards.
To our 29.
Yeah. And you know why? Because they don't block out. And I have said that every single time. I went into a deep little dissertation on this the last episode, Sean, that I feel like people don't block out anymore. It's just like a who can jump the highest game.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is, number 1, we're not always going to be the biggest to win the who can jump the highest game.
Nope.
And if you're not positioned and you play the who can jump the highest game, you're going to get an over the back foul. So really, you should just learn to block out. And a
Okay.
lot of our players don't do that, and it drives me nuts.
That drives me nuts thinking about it. I mean,
Because
that's a great point that I didn't even think about
Because
until
it's
now.
not, and this is why it drives me nuts the most, because it's not anything that's dependent upon your athleticism or skill level. It's
Right.
literally just are you dedicated to doing it or not? Like, you just either block out or you don't. It doesn't take any extra athleticism or skill. You just have to do it.
It's about will and want to. So
Correct.
I guess, is it my turn? Is you for
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some
Okay.
grievances. Let's hear it.
Well,
The floor is yours.
I'm not saying these guys. I think these guys have a tremendous amount of pride in what's on the front of that jersey. I know I'm cliche already. I don't think it's lacking. I think the Press U deal is a legit part of their fabric every day. But we're gonna relax. We're gonna ignore the stats. We're gonna ignore the win-loss record. We are now at the last third of the season.
Mm-hmm.
We got the month of February is where teams are made or broken. This is to the fans, and these are to the entire region of East Texas and to the players. This is collectively as one unit, including myself, the three of us. Let's start acting like champions. Quit bitching. Quit moaning. Let's get behind. We get to wake up. These kids, to the players, you get to wake up and play for this great program and that beautiful practice facility. You get to sit in the hot tub and rehabilitate. You get to walk down that amazing tunnel that 99% of us don't have that opportunity to. You, the fans, get to see a great product, great young men, great talented guys who are extending a legacy that has been built since 2001. All great coaches. Embrace it. Quit worrying about how much it is. Come on, we all COVID. We're all worried about making more money. Spend the money to go to a game and quit complaining about what we used to do. I'm tired of hearing about it. As an alum, let's do it. Let's do this all together. I'm getting pissed off thinking about it. If we're going to play big boy basketball and big time athletics, invest in it and quit saying what we used to do. Let's all get together. Let's do it. Let's get on the same team. Let's make this happen. And let's continue to make this program. Maybe we'll be in another conference in 3 years, a Conference USA maybe. Don't break this pattern.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Controversial.
And to all of you lumberjacks on the team, you're about to do something special. You just have to believe it. It will happen. We have the team. Are you hurt or is it just painful? But I believe it. I think we have a great team, a great coaching staff.
Agreed. Co-sign.
I am motivated to run through a brick wall right now.
Let's go. I'm not criticizing the players, really. I'm just saying that what I saw were kids who can play on a much higher level consistently, and they can get this job done.
Oh,
Yeah.
Those kids are special.
We've said that a million times. I was like, we know the potential of this team is. They just need to believe it too.
Yeah.
On Thursday night, they had the juice and they believed it. And they came in and whooped that ass. Saturday comes around and some fight, a little bit of juice. It just wasn't falling for them.
Yeah. And just didn't finish. We tried to come back
Didn't finish it up. And, that's just unfortunate. So, Sean, normally what we do at the end of our little chit chat here is we do a one word only game summary.
Uh-oh.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Okay, that was like what happened. I don't know what happened. Okay. So I was saying normally we do a one word to describe the entire game analysis and summary. Jacqueline, what's your word?
Bummed. I was just bummed. Thursday night, I knew both of these games were going to be so hard, but then after, like you said, our performance Thursday night and the energy level and the confidence level, I just didn't expect that outcome of this game. So
Right. Had a little bit higher expectations because of Thursday's performance. I agree. I agree. My one word was wrecked. And that's a double meaning because I was having a grand old time the whole day. Many beers were had, but also wrecked because same thing with Jacqueline. I was sad. I was wrecked. I was upset because I knew that, again, we know the caliber of team that we have. And after Thursday's performance, I was just looking forward to this game, giving New Mexico State a run for their money and then just kind of falling flat there at the end of the game. And so it was just like, man, shit. Ugh. Can't dwell on it too long though. Got to move on. Next game. But anyway, so Sean, what would be your one word, how you would summarize the entire day / game?
Deflated. Because it goes back to what I saw. I'm proud. I'm glad that the players we have, I'm glad they play for Stephen F. Austin. Deflated because the expectations. Wouldn't you? I mean, I know they know the expectations. There's pressure on these guys, but that's why you play. You want to play in those situations. Yeah. You want to compete at everything in life. And this is a program to do it. I mean, with beautiful new things comes expectations higher.
Well, and the past success that we've had, I mean, we see it on social media all the time, like that people are they're like, what's wrong with our Lumberjacks? This isn't right. This isn't them. This isn't how they play, and it's just like, there are so many people that have such high expectations of this team, no matter who's on the court, no matter what's happening. And I do feel like a lot of those players, they feel that. They 100% do. I mean, take Trell, for example. He was visibly upset after that.
Yeah.
He was wrecked. He was bummed. And
deflated.
The poor guy. I mean, Jacqueline told me, didn't you say you had to hug him twice because he was.
Yeah. So after the game, as you know, Sean, they flipped the ends of the court of where we ran out. So they moved the benches to the other side and flipped them over.
Yeah.
So now it kind of makes, as I think you saw from sitting on the sidelines, it almost kind of makes an awkward circle that they have to make around to come back to that side and then go to the other side to their locker room. So a lot of them haven't really come over this year like they normally would go, behind the bench after the game. But anyway, on Saturday, none of them came over to where we were except for Trell, because he looked over there and made eye contact with me. So he came over there, and I mean, he was just so upset. You could just tell. And I just gave him a really long hug, and I was like, chin up. Next game, we're gonna have days like this. Just keep moving forward. But yeah, he was visibly upset.
But you want that.
Yeah, and
you want to see it.
And I told him some days are going to be like that. So can't win every one.
Sometimes it'd be like that though.
Yeah.
It do be like that.
It do be like that though. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a good all around day. Obviously we wish we'd have come out with a W, but like I said, next game coming up tomorrow night versus Seattle. Boys are over on the West Coast, enjoying some Seattle sights. They just posted they were at the Space Needle. Just popped up on my feed, or on our feed. So that's nice. They're enjoying some sights. I'm glad they got to get up there. And I'm just hoping for a nice turnaround game. Seattle's been playing lights out, but they also haven't played any big game in the conference yet.
Yeah.
So like we said earlier in the beginning, I think this is going to be the next 4 games are really going to show how Seattle truly is. And, maybe I'm hoping we're going to go into their court and surprise them.
I hope so. I hope they bounce back. It's going to be a late one for all of us over here because it's going to be 9 when the game starts.
That's a good point. I forgot about that. That's funny, Jacqueline. You mentioned how the players walk around. So they walked. I guess it's normal to the courtside seats,
Yeah,
They
they all
do flex. Yeah.
and
But
they
then
came around, and I didn't know. I was all right. I said it's just getting started. I think that's what's happening. It's just getting started.
Yeah, completely.
yeah.
I just need them to get it started quicker because game season's almost over.
But it's
I need them to move up the timetable of when they're getting started to tomorrow.
I think
If
when's
that's the
Nigel
case.
coming back? Is Nigel back tomorrow?
I think so.
I hope so. I'm
Unless-
gonna try and zoom in on this picture and see if I can see him in this picture. But
Yeah,
like,
you can see, but unless there's some unforeseen or circumstances, I would assume that he would be back tomorrow.
I would hope. There's a good question I see here.
What?
Where does University of Seattle play? I mean, I'm assuming they play on campus. I'm going to look that up.
So. You think so?
I'm going to see.
this
Are you
picture is so fracking blurry.
What is it on? What?
Twitter.
Okay, hold on.
I see. I mean, there's people here that I absolutely, yes, I know who that is. I see their faces. I am trying to see if Nigel is in this picture. There are people in this picture too that I don't even know who the hell they are, though.
So they play it says they play at the Climate Pledge Arena. Is that the new arena where who plays? That's got to be downtown, right?
I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to look at the picture, but not gonna lie, it's also dark, so I really
It's dark. Can't see. Can't tell one iota. So we will not know until tip off tomorrow.
So Elgin Baylor played for University of Seattle. Just throwing that out there.
That's an interesting fact.
#1 draft pick.
Huh.
That's
Seattle. Okay, hold on. Seattle basketball. Let me see here. Let's
They've been to the
see.
Final Four once. They haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 1969.
Interesting. They haven't been since 69 to the tournament?
Yeah, NCAA, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this Climate Pledge Arena is, I'm guessing it seats like 9,000.
Huh.
And the Red Hawks Center. I guess they're the Red Hawks.
Okay, so you were talking about Ken Palm earlier. Did you see where we all are at as of Tuesday? So as of today?
I'm going to look at the net rankings real fast.
I got it right here.
Oh,
Whack Hoops. Whack Hoops is always on top of it. Kyle always posts this crap like literally every week. So yeah, thanks, Kyle. So New Mexico State 101, GCU 111, Utah Valley 118, Seattle 137, and SFA is 140.
That's not good. That's not good if you're. Well, this one I see New Mexico State's 88. Is that what you said?
No, 101. He posted this today, 7 hours ago, Tuesday afternoon. So.
Oh, this was through games on the 24th. So they may have fallen.
But yesterday was the 24th, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, 88. That's the highest one.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I was just reading what he had put. I'm not sure how updated that is. I have no idea. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Who knows how it's going to go. I'm just trying to be cautiously optimistic, and then hopefully we'll start turning stuff up so that way we can book our tickets to Vegas.
That's amazing. Come on. You know you want to go back to Katy.
Absolutely not.
Vegas. I haven't been in 2 years.
Maria is asking at what court they are playing at in Seattle. Yeah, we didn't know. I think, but Sean looked it up.
Yeah, I think they're playing it. They have an on-campus facility called the Red Hawk arena, and then they also play at a 9,000 seat arena. It looks like it's near downtown Seattle.
Oh,
So,
that's fun.
so there's 2 that they play at, or is that just
an all campus? It says a split. So
Weird for what? I mean,
there's like St. John's up in New York. They do that. They'll play sometimes on campus, and then they play at Madison Square Garden for some.
well, I mean, if Madison Square Garden's your other option, then do that.
Do that.
it
all
probably
the
just
time.
depends on maybe the game and
We got some ad popping up here.
oh, what kind of ads? I'm just kidding.
It is not softcore.
Darn. Didn't peg you for a hardcore guy. But anyway, so come on, hardcore heavy metal. Duh, get your mind out of the gutter.
Whoa, come on.
Wow. All right, so my goodness, man, what a night. 10:30, probably should hang it up. You know, we got work tomorrow. So Sean, love you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had such a good time. And we'll definitely have to make this a more often thing for sure, because love talking sports with you 100%.
I love y'all. Love you, ladies.
Love you too.
We love you too. I'm so glad you came down this weekend and were with us and hanging out. And we're gonna miss you next weekend when we're doing the ambassador stuff.
I'll be virtual.
You will be virtual, but that's just not the same when you're not here when you're in person.
I need to get you guys in the man cave.
Yes.
And so we'll make that happen. We'll have some
I would
fun.
love to be in your man cave.
Me too.
The FCC is shutting this down.
Hey, they haven't shut us down yet, and I've probably said every
They're not
curse
gonna
word in the
shut
book on this podcast. So I think
let us all be ourselves and
That
speak
is-
what we want to say.
Amen.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Gotta do it.
This has
Amen
been
and
fun,
hallelujah.
ladies.
Hey, Sean, again, we thank you so much for tuning in. And just as a reminder, everyone, make sure that you order some My Plates, myplates.com/lumberjack. Man, classic win-win. You get a sweet plate, show off your SFA pride, and the athletic teams get about 50% of that purchase price. Sean, do you have My Plates?
I need to order them.
What?
I need to order them.
You do.
And your viewers can go to manscaped.com, use the promo code mancave20 for 20% off. Pass that around too. And I need to go on My Plates.
You need to go on My Plates, yeah. So we'll go on Manscaped. You know, I'm not sure how much stuff is on there for us, but you know, you never know. But I'm sure a lot of our viewers are probably men, so that'll work. But yeah, so make sure you go get those My Plates. You can again go to myplates.com/lumberjacks. You can even get a $50 rebate, Sean. Ooh. Maybe they have a plate. You can get one, something about like Minister of Culture or like MOC, something.
MCSFA.
Bingo.
Yeah, there you go.
I bet you they have it. I bet you they got it. So yeah, make sure you guys go on there, get those My Plates. Be rocking them SFA plates all around town, all around Texas. Show off your lumberjack pride. Real fans have My Plates. Real fans support SFA athletics. It is an Stephen F. awesome way to support your jacks. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And man, oh man, what a delight. We love Sean. We love our jacks. And we're ready to go to bed. So everybody, good night, Sean. We love you.
Good night, you beauties.
We love you so much. Again, always remember, everybody, axe them jacks.
Axe them.
Without some jacks.
Axe them.
Axe them. All right. Good night, everyone.